gbọ́dọ̀ wó.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Araba yìí kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wó.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Àṣà ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ gbé.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Ìjì ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ gbé lọ.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Ìtú ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ pa ó.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wó, kò nílé wó he. Ọlọ́gbọ́n ayé o, ẹ̀sùn mọ́ bí. Olóyè ayé ẹ má bá mi ká lọ. Ọ̀fọ̀ ìgbéyàwó ọ̀rọ̀ ìlẹ́nu mi. Mo ní igi là ń bẹ nígbò ìgbò. Ìgbò ìmà mi wò lọ. Araba yìí wá ń gbìyànjú kò dọ́mọ kó wà lárẹ́rẹ́ lọ. Igi ńlá yìí wà lóhun tó máa fi ṣàràbà lóore. Oníwíwó ní káràbà ìlọ́wọ́ láwùjọ igi. Onílé wò é, kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Ṣọ́dá àbáwọn sọ Fúlàní wọ̀nyí bó ṣe ń pa wá. Ṣó wá sùn ọkọ̀ má déyẹ mọ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kó jáwọ́ ní. Àwọn àgbààgbà ikọ̀ wọn kò tíra mú, odò sì wá kó wà láyé rẹ̀ lọ. Ó máa ṣe òye, kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Èrò bá mi kọ́ mọ́dé mọ́. Èmi kí ọmọ yíyọ ilẹ̀ akíkanjú ọkùnrin ogun. Èrò bá mi kọ́ mọ́ wọn ní gbọ́ ọmọ rẹ̀. Iná máa rógún màmá ti dì pẹ̀lẹ́ ọmọ bàbá rógún màmá ṣojo. Sunday ẹ̀yẹ tó má ṣe bọ́ kí yẹn ò sí ní gbọ́mọ́. Òrìṣà tí ó ṣe bọ́kọ̀ màdé mọ́ ni, ṣe bí yẹn ò kọ́ mọ́ lágbẹ̀dẹ. Ẹ̀bà lè jẹ́ ẹ̀bọ̀nà jẹ́. Adéyẹmí yóò máa sọ kọ̀ọ̀kan láì dáa. Kìkì orí tó máa kọ́ ni wípé Yorùbá nation yìí ló going back kìíní. Ẹ̀dá bí rẹ̀ ṣọ̀wọ́n òye, kó máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò. Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò, onílé wò é. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká rórí. Ọjọ́ wo ni wọ́n dalẹ̀ Ifẹ̀ tán gangan? Àwọn kan sáré kó lè dára. Èrè bó bàjẹ́ kókò mí làwọn kan sá. Ṣó dára kí dára ṣó ìwà lọ́kùn. Yorùbá ìrònú kẹ́lọ́ fi mọ̀ ṣọ̀kan. Ọ̀tá ló pọ̀ tán ìwà ká. Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Omi nù ń kọ́ mi. Ìdí táwọn àgbààgbà ìtàn kò fi lè sòdodo. Ó ti sọ́wọ́n àjẹkẹ́ wá jọba. Ìran láwọn àgbààgbà ìgbèdánijó kiri. Ó mà ṣe òye, ó máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò.
Araba ni egbọ́dọ̀ wó láwùjọ.
Yorùbá mẹ́wàá yóò máa lòlẹ̀ ayé gbọ́. Lọ́ba lọ́ba lóye lóye Yorùbá, mo bẹ̀ yín ẹ ṣayé ire. Kò bàjẹ́ láyé Olúgbọ́n, kò má bàjẹ́ láyé Àrẹ̀sà o. Kò má torí tíyín bàjẹ́ òye. Abẹ́ orí arúgbó Yorùbá ó máa fọwọ́ rọ́ọ̀rì kú mọ́. Ẹ bá ọ̀nà lọ́mọ kéékèèké kú sí kiri. Olóko lè lóko nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́. Kìjokíjo lọ́dọ́ ló wọ̀n yìí wá ń sáré kiri. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká relé. Bájọ́ bàjùmọ̀ á ń padà sílé bàbá ẹni ni. Ṣebí ewúrẹ́ yẹn ò ló ṣọmọ yá àgùntàn. Àgùntàn ló ní màmá mi òbí dúdú òye. Ṣebí látọdún tó ti wà nínú Nàìjíríà yìí, ìdẹ̀ra là ń fojoojúmọ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn, ṣùgbọ́n òmìnira náà fojoojúmọ́ fún àmú. Ó ṣe àsìkò tí tó ilé tó lọ òmìnira láfẹ́ o. Ó ṣe àsìkò tí tó ilé tó lọ òmìnira láfẹ́ o. Ó ṣe àsìkò tí tó ilé tó lọ òmìnira láfẹ́ o. Ó ṣe àsìkò tí tó ilé tó lọ òmìnira láfẹ́ o. Ó ṣe àsìkò tí tó ilé tó lọ òmìnira láfẹ́ o.
Top dog.
Ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọmọ aládé ni wá látòde ọ̀run. Adé orí òkè kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ wọn. Akíkandìyẹ máa gbógbé rẹ̀ fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀. Rárá kò jọra. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀. Èmi ọ̀pọ̀ ológo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. wá. Wọ́n ṣe wá lógo, ó tún wá fálùmọ́nì sí. Èmi ọ̀pọ̀ lógo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọlọ́run dìde jọ̀wọ́ má ṣe wòran mọ́. Ìyà ìsọ̀kẹ́ ó pọ̀ jù lórílẹ̀-èdè. Ṣé bí wọ́n ló gbé àwọn ebèrú dìjà? Bàbá mi dìde jọ̀wọ́ jẹ́rìí ara rẹ̀. Èmi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Èmi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò polongo
orílẹ̀-èdè mi.
ẹ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ìtùnú sílẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí.
Mo fẹ́ o.
Àní ọmọ aládé jẹun bí irọ́. Ọmọ olówó wáyé ṣàgbé. Ọmọ aláṣọ wáyé wá kísà. Ọmọ alágbẹ̀dẹ wáyé sunkún ẹrù. Òye pa wá.
Criticism about whatever you are doing. So you see the negatives all the time. But at Starr Radio UK, we're here to bring you the best in everything, and therefore, when your criticism comes, we know that it's a constructive one. We take it out the chain and then we work with it. Right, this time, it is not criticism. It is time for us to bring you what is happening in Nigeria.
Run away from.
And it's my singular honor once again to introduce my brother and the White Lion himself, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios, who is coming your way with all the updates from Nigeria. And let me say good morning to you, Yomi.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Very good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world, and welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I say good morning to Frank and good morning to all the presenters, and I come back again to you in the studio. And once again, like you said, the technical glitch couldn't allow us to bring the update, but there is going to be enough room later on in the evening. I'll be telling you more about that. But let me come back again to you in the studio, because we are normally pressed with time when it comes to the Wednesday edition of the morning show.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. How are you doing, sir?
Well, still doing very well. The weather is still very great, almost like we are in South Africa where the BRICS is going on, as we all been monitoring that. But I'm not too sure whether Bola Tinubu, the president, will be flying there. I might be giving an update on that later on. But for now, it's more or less like we're in Ghana and we're in Nigeria when it comes to the weather. And like we always say, take the water with you, especially when you travel on the London Underground. It could be very hot underneath there. Mm-hmm. And since we don't have the air condition to cool it, your water system will cool it while you're traveling on the London Underground.
Well, listeners, that is a word of advice to you from the White Lion himself. Okay, Starr Radio UK, updates from Nigeria. We have in your background
as we will be discussing some of the 4 major controversy crises going on when it comes to this issue in Nigeria today. Let me come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Once again, it is still Starr Radio UK.
In at a third YouTube channel that has kickstarted. So please, if you are monitoring us, you are following us on that, please go on that one so that it can be interactive there. Okay, the first 2 for some reason have restarted. All right then. Now that's what Tony Blair has said. Now we see we talk about, is it El-Rufai, the statement that he made pertaining to his state, and then so you see that some of the religious leaders are wedging. Or some leaders, political leaders, are wedging that thing in there that is causing about a division in the people. So we're not talking about tribal ones or the various groupings that we have. The main one now is what is going on. We had it back in the day when was it last year when one student in the north was lynched. Yeah, was lynched because he's made a statement which some say that it was against the Holy Prophet and stuff like that. That seems to be going on. So do Nigerians agree with what Tony Blair was saying?
Well, you would think that 11 years after Tony Blair said this, there will be some kind of those of people that believe that we should be able to work together in harmony, live together side by side. But that is not actually happening in Nigeria today. The woman behind you, I'll be telling you a little bit more about her. But let's first look quickly into the 4 recent religious controversy in the most populous black nation in the world, and as we all say, also the world poverty, the world capital poverty of the world as well. Let's go straight to it. Controversy around the power of religion in Nigeria has remained a sensitive topic among citizens, even up to the election that was just concluded, which is still in the election tribunal, as we know, because the ethnic card was played, the religious card was played. We saw that we now have, in a very long time, what we call the Muslim ticket, which again has been a big controversy. But that is not where we're going today. We have 3 major religions in Nigeria. We have the Christianity, we have the Islam, and we have the indigenous worshipper. The woman behind you, I'll be telling you why she's in that picture this morning. All the 3 over the last year have continued to fight to protect the laws and beliefs governing their practices. In this piece, we will discuss just 4 out of them. The first one, it was an advert that was put together by a bank called Starr Bank during the Easter of last year, putting Jesus Christ to a popular bread called Agege bread. These actually sparked an outcry amongst many, especially the devoted Christians in the country. The advert message was, like Agege bread, he rose, published alongside a picture of the bread divided into the halves. This was not well taken by the Christians in Nigeria, and there was a spark. Even they immediately called for his retraction and removal of the chief executive officer of the Starr Bank, Abubakar Sulaiman. Bear that name. Abubakar Sulaiman is a Muslim. Could this have been done in a way that maybe, well, we will leave that for now. Let's talk about the next one. Davido versus the Muslim community. The Muslim community in the north started burning down Davido's images. What was the reason for that? Unlike the Starr Bank forgiveness, did not look like a rout. A Muslim devotee was looking to pile the following release of a music clip by the popular Nigerian artist David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido. Davido on July 21 released a 45-second clip from the music video of his signing Olamilekan Taiwo, aka Lagos Olori title Jaye Jaye. The video features some Muslim clerics outside a mosque dancing, and the act many Muslim devotees criticized, tagging the particular scene as very, very disrespectful. The last one is a Kwara Muslim cleric and Isheshe worshipper, the woman behind you. Ilorin does not permit idol worshipper, even though she's a Yoruba, but she lives in Kwara State. She's not been allowed, permitted to practice her idol worshipper according to what they're saying. A Muslim group Mujisu Shahab Ila Umola Society in Ilorin, Kwara State made the news after the video surfaced on Facebook showing that they stormed the home of an indigenous religious priest, Yeye Adesikemi Olokun Omolora Olatunji, to warn her against holding a planned festival organized in the state because Ilorin is not for worshipping of such. You should take that to another state. And as we speak today, there's another young man that is facing similar situation called Tani Olom. But like I said, religious has been one of the biggest fights in Africa. But as Nigerians, it is even much more difficult to understand why we cannot live side by side as people, because as of today, there is still religious fight going on in the north, in the middle belt. As you said already, El Rufai is warning Bola Tinubu, the president, maybe if they have not fallout, maybe El Rufai would not have said so. Invading Niger is declaring civil war against the northerner, Nigeria, where we know that there's more Muslim in the north. El Rufai is now warning Tinubu, let us not bend their fall over the backward to avoid a civil war. The question then is, why did El Rufai not say much when the killings during the Buhari regime was going on between the southeast and the president?
That is quite an interesting statement, because you look at the whole thing and look at the statement that Tony Blair made, 11 years back, and the fact that we didn't act on it, and we see it experiment. Because look at the lady behind you. Now, she is a Nigerian. Now, Nigeria is not an Islamic state, neither is it a Christian state. There is freedom of worship, there is freedom of association. I can decide to worship whatever I want to worship, so far as I'm there and I'm not bringing it into your somebody will say into your face or doing it in your face. You cannot tell me that I'm doing anything wrong with it. But with this, why would people think that, okay, I think that it's better for us to separate ourselves so that everybody will be doing whatever they are doing? So what has been the outcry of Nigerians as a whole in reaction to this, what is going on there so far?
The reaction has been backfiring, and it has literally brought tension among all the major religions in the country as of today. Like I said, there is still this young man as well that is currently facing charges of defamation, even though he says that it seems that the criticism that has gone on for a very long time against religious traditional worshiper have taken place. It seems the condemnation has happened, but maybe because of the new social media, his own message is asking Tani Olom, who is a god? Who is the God? And it seems that has become a friction between the Muslim and the traditional worshippers. And it seems already, as we speak right now, he was actually kidnapped in Ibadan to Ilorin. The police have said they never granted any such warrant. The question then is, who took a warrant to set him up and kidnap him without the Ibadan, which is Oyo State, knowing how the Kwara State police came into the state, took him away. But as I speak right now, he's now in the court. Some of the lawyers have stood up, and this morning I've seen many travelers to Ilorin to find out what is going to happen to him. But like I said, these are just one. Remember, like you said, in Kano, we saw the young girl killed because of a religious view in a WhatsApp message between the group in the state. And as of today, nobody yet has been called out, and nobody else has been served the punishment for the death of Rebecca.
Well, so the question is, do all Nigerian lives matter, or some matters more than others? Do your life matter? And looking at religion and everything, what do you think about it? What do you think can be done so that we can live peacefully? There should be peaceful coexistence, right, as a nation. But if you're not getting that, then what is the point? Well, we'll be talking more about that. And this evening on Niger Voices, there's going to be lots of discussions on all those issues there. So don't you go away. But let me go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories that is making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, the new ministers are now saying that they will have a lot of work to put on their shoulder. And like you said, it seems already that the work would have to start because the current situation of the economy in Nigeria is not really smiling. But let's take one or two more headline. We've been monitoring what is happening in the South Africa with the BRICS. I'm not sure, like I said, if the president will be traveling there. But what I can say is that God will use the President Bola Tinubu and all his ministers to develop Nigeria. He actually said the same thing some few years before when the former president Muhammadu Buhari was there, but we saw that Buhari collapsed the economy. Who is actually saying this, and why is he saying that? That is Pastor Kumoyi. Pastor Kumoyi says we are going to see new things for our country through our president and members of his cabinet. This is actually generated again a lot of controversy on the social media. William Kumoyi, the founder of the Deeper Life Bible Church, says God will use President Bola Tinubu and his cabinet members to build a better Nigeria, while also urging Nigerians to stop criticizing every step of the government officials. I don't know what that means. So in sense that maybe we shouldn't criticize Rishi Sunak if he's not doing the right thing according to what God will want us to do. But maybe it's in Africa. The cleric actually disclosed this yesterday, while his church monthly global crusade scheduled for Thursday in Oshogbo in Osun State is about to take place. Let's forget the past. This is a new day. We all believe that we are going to see new things for our country through our president and through the members of the cabinet. Good things will happen. So we have to wait again until those good things happen. And if they don't happen, then maybe we'll come back and question Pastor Kumoyi. Let's take out two more because, like I said, time constraint. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group holds talks with the CBN over the Nigeria physical economic stability. It seems that the foreign reserve is going as quickly as away from us. The question is, who actually take more out of the foreign reserve of Nigeria? The Nigerian Economic Summit Group yesterday held a discussion with the Central Bank of Nigeria on areas of collaboration towards achieving economic stability. According to the statement by the group, the discussion took place when the group board of directors, led by chairman Niyi Yusuf, paid a courtesy visit to the CBN acting governor Fola Shonubi in Abuja. The meeting was centered around synergizing towards ensuring Nigerian monetary and macroeconomic stability. The leadership of the CBN was also invited to collaborate and participate. So let's see how that is going to make any changes. Like I said, there is a lot of expectation from Nigerians, from the southwest to the southeast to the middle belt on this government. Lending savings widened by 22.14%, two-digit in July report. As we look into the next one, the gap between the maximum lending rate and the saving deposit rate in the banking sector widening by 22.14% in July. Bank saving deposit rate rose slightly to 5.24% in July from 5.88%. Figure that was obtained on the money market indicators from the Apex Bank also revealed that the maximum lending rate slightly to 27.38. Imagine you have to lend from almost two digits, as many businesses cannot sustain such. Let's go straight into what is happening in politics. Obi campaign denies planned merge with Atiku. We actually said this on Monday, but it seems that that is not what actually is going to happen, according to the Obi Atiku merger. Remember, we talked about the merger between Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso. But the National Secretary of the Labour Party, Umar Farouk, and ties media aide to the Labour Party flag bearer, Peter Obi, have now denied knowledge of an ongoing merger arrangement with the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Let me come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie, and we're going to touch straight on what is happening on the social media this morning. Once again, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria. And let me say good morning to Mavis Akufu all the way in Ghana. Says she's chilling out in Takoradi, and I hope that you're enjoying the holidays there. Yeah, good one there. And thank you to every one of you who is also shared the broadcast, or those of you on all the other platforms watching us, listening to us. We salute you. I say, but for you, there will be no need for us to be here. But let's go straight to the Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, and Atiku. Now, with the statement that the pastor has made, what is the name of the pastor? Kumoye has made. Now, I was saying that in a way, he is actually endorsing Tinubu's presidency and saying that let's let sleeping dogs lie, everything that is passed, let it pass, blah blah blah. So is that going to some way somehow influence the decision of the tribunal? Then secondly, the question is, we're looking at the measure and we're saying that if Atiku and Peter Obi decided to have been together as PDP candidates, they would have won the elections palms down. But they didn't. They decided to go their separate ways. And that's why we are seeing all this. So what do you think? What do you think?
Let's listen to just under 50 seconds how Pastor Kumoye, and then I'll respond to that.
Those ministers that have been chosen in the cabinet, they are not new people that have never done anything. If you look at them one by one, you'll see the good things they've done. If we support them, if we are not, criticizing every step and they don't know where to stand, if we accept them and we believe that God will work through them, He'll use them as instruments to build our nation, let's forget the past. This is a new day. And I believe, and we all believe, we're going to see new things for our country through our president and through the members of the cabinet. Good things will happen.
Well, good things will happen. This kind of endorsement to Bola Tinubu, will this make any changes with the outcome of the election petition tribunal? As we do know also that Atiku is really pushing to get all the information as much from the past of the President Bola Tinubu while he was in Chicago. We're expecting some kind of outcome from that later on today. Would that make any changes as well? Would that turn things around? There is a lot of Nigerians that are responding to the latest from Pastor Kumoye, and like you did ask, could this be a kind of endorsement to Bola Tinubu? Well, already he's already making his way to make Nigeria great, but it seems Peter Obi, Atiku are not yet individuals that are pleased with the outcome, and both of them are still firing from both cylinders. But how much the cylinder will go is what we don't know. Whether there will be a rerun, but like you heard this morning again, Peter Obi says, whoever put that out, I am not merging with Atiku. I remain Labour Party, and I will still continue to fight for the election that was rigged under the INEC, and the world saw that, but everybody kept mute.
Okay, listen, I Starr Radio UK. Daisy Man 123. Good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us as well. It is morning to all of us here on the Starr Radio UK platform. Okay, so we still not got a date, a tentative date for the ruling from the tribunal, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay, this might be the first time we are seeing anything of the sort. How long normally does it take?
Well, it shouldn't be that long, but this is a very, very sensitive case. So I believe they are putting everything in place, all the mechanism in place for the outcome that might not bring, the chaos or anarchy or the expectation from both sides, because it might be turning around against even the current president, and that means put a full stop to whatever he's doing. And even now that the African Union is not backing the military intervention in Niger, but Niger will be suspended by the African Union, as we heard from them in the last few hours. Okay,
listen to Starr Radio UK. Before we let Mr. Olayomi Koiki go to what is happening on the social media platform, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, and the Minister of State, Dr. Bello Matawale, have asked service chiefs to give them timeline and requirements to end insecurity in the country. Now, this is a big ask. And that is what Nigerians are actually looking for, that they are at a place where they know that they are able to go peacefully about their duties, their daily chores, and do whatever things. Do you think that, with that statement, it will make anything, or because the new sheriff is in town, so we're going to be seeing something different, you know what I mean?
Well, we shouldn't throw everything out. We just have to believe that, these are new faces, these are new ministers, chief security officers. Buhari refused to change some for a very long time until there was pressure and he had to bow down. But the defense minister, like I said, is demanding timeline to end terrorism and banditry. It's easier said than done, if the equipment is there, if the intelligence is there, if sharing of intelligence is also there. Like you said, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, and the Minister of State, Dr. Bello Matolawa, has asked Service Chief to give them a timeline. While you were just saying that, going back to the social media, I just picked up where the Boko Haram and the ISIS are fighting on the waterway in Nigeria. You wonder, how did we get to where, they can even capture themselves on the video and post that on the social media? It shows that intelligence in Nigeria is either being, infiltrated, is not being, circulated between the security agency. Given a timeline to terrorism, we know that even here in UK, terrorism is still being fought, but is not as physical and visual as we know, and that is why say it, sorted. But in Nigeria, say it, and you might be the one to be at the back of the gulag if you try to sort it out. So, and as many Nigerians are scared, especially those living in the rural community, because if they see it and say it so that it can be sorted out, they might be the one to be wiped off, as many communities have been wiped off from the surface of Africa, especially Nigeria, because many killings still go ahead. Going back again to Tony Blair, May 26, 2014, the Nigerian kidnappers' ideology. This was just after 240 Nigerian girls shook the world, underneath the, African countries. According to them, the ideology is based on the warped and false view of religion. It is taught in formal and informal school setting worldwide. And it seems that is already what is taking place now in Ilorin, where the ideology of Islam is different from the Southwest belief, where we live in harmony for a very long time. But it seems that if care is not taken, Ilorin might be the new breeding ground for the new different kind of ideology Muslims that are living in that part of the world.
Wow, listen, let's start Radio UK. Okay, Yomi, bring us what is happening on the social media, please.
Well, I'm not sure why the former president Buhari is trending. Sheyi Tinubu is trending, and I can tell why. Because Aluko, as much as we're not going to go into the details of Alison Makdekwe, but we know that there was a property in London that Sheyi Tinubu brought from Aluko Kolawole. Aluko Kolawole is linked to, Dezeni, according to the news out in the public domain. But the question is, why is it trending again today? We know that Sheyi Tinubu's dad is the one leading the most populous black nation as we speak today, and many Nigerians are really reacting. Especially some are not happy that he has so much security that is protecting him. But I believe that as the son of the president, he needs to be protected so that a ransom is not paid after he's been kidnapped. So that he has extra security in one of his outing that is already in circulation some few weeks ago. Also, we know that Buhari is trending. Buhari has left the government, but he's not yet left the social media, as many Nigerians are still talking about Buhari. Once again, we talked about Amosun, these beautiful sisters of ours. That was, we believe maybe there was some mistake, but it seems that she's coming back very, very strong. World Athletic Champions Toby Amosun wins the heat and qualifies for the semi-final. Toby Amosun ran a time of 12 minutes 48 seconds to win the 5th women's heat. She was suspended, but it seems things have gone back to normal. All this was happening in Budapest in Hungary, where she's qualified for the semi-final at the 2023 World Athletics Championship in Budapest. So what is trending? Like I said, Buhari is trending this morning. Toby Amosun, like we told you, is trending. And as usual, Bola Tinubu is trending. I'm just looking at this. The presidency State House released the 15th summit. President Tinubu, very passionate about the empowering of the MSE, says the vice president. So it seems that the vice president is attending on behalf of the government. From the images that is now popped up We did say that we are not too sure, but from the Director of Information of the Office of the Vice President, the Vice President Shetima, who took time to inspect Nigerian exhibition, lauded investment of Nigeria in South Africa. He said, I am quite impressed by the investment Nigerians are making in South Africa. This is the beginning of greater things to come. I can say that Nigerians are active in digital economy. They are also active in fashion, and they are equally active in mining. So that is coming from the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing Bola Tinubu at the ongoing second-day summit in South Africa, where the BRICS are trying to bring as many more countries on board. And I'll be saying more on that later on this evening when we come on the Niger Voices. Once again, I'll come back again to you as we come to the end of the headline. As I can see that is the Vice President with some of the team that travel with him to South Africa.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, you want to know more about the BRICS, what conference or meeting that is taking place in South Africa, you got to make sure that exactly at 18 hours BST or 6 p.m. If you're in Nigeria, or GMT +1, yes, you will join Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi, before you go.
Well, like you said, later on the Niger Voices, there will be a lot of discussion, and the focus again will be the BRICS, and we'll be touching more on the religious views of individuals in Nigeria. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, 21 minutes to the end of the program. So let's